we can. Hey, this is Scott Jones with another installment of Magick 101. And today we're going to be talking about the magical system known as Wicca, witchcraft. The word Wicca comes from the word wiki, which means to distort, to bend, to curve. And the art of witchcraft, the true art of it, is through the powers of the god and goddess of witchcraft, how to bend and distort nature to the advantage of the witch. Yes, witchcraft has a god and goddess type entity that is the source of its power. The name of this entity is Ungit Bata Talafal. UNGITBATTATALAPHAL. You can read about this entity in the book written by C.S. Lewis called Till We Have Faces. This entity is the source of power for the witches. And the art of witchcraft is through the celebration of the 8 Sabbaths and the festivals known as the Esbats. On the full moon, you are able to praise and feed etheric energy to Ungit. And in exchange, she will bend and distort nature on your behalf. This is the core principle upon which witchcraft operates. You understand? So for the practical magician, if you are a witch, then the main thing you need to do is to get you an altar that represents the god and goddess of your religion. And then you feed that god and goddess with etheric energy by celebrating the Sabbaths and the Esbats. But when you get that altar, whether you're from a coven, which is a group of witches, or you are what they call a solitary witch, the main thing is to cast a circle around that altar. And let me tell you about the significance of circles in witchcraft. When the witches cast their circle, they focus and concentrate power from the underworld. And their job is to raise that power in the shape of a cone. And when they get that power at its peak, fairies and elementals and other type of beings that serve Ungit, they will take that energy and disperse it and use it to fulfill the desires of the witch. The coned hat of the witch, we all see the witch with the cone-shaped hat. That hat is symbolic of her telepathic connection with the god and goddess of witchcraft. Ungit, the god and goddess of witchcraft, speaks through that hat into the mind of the witch. And the witch may not necessarily have a hat. It's just that she has a telepathic connection to that entity. But the hat represents that. The broom that you see the witches fly on, that represents sexual energy in combination with the serpent, or kundalini, as they call it. The cauldron represents the focus of the witch's power and their connection to Ungit. So everything you see on the traditional witch has a symbolic significance. So as a practical magician who's practicing Wicca, just know what you're dealing with. Me personally, I don't see the safety in dealing with that type of entity. Me and that entity actually have history, so I wouldn't mess with it. But if you are messing with it, it's a way to do it carefully. Know that you have to make sacrifices to that goddess, that god and goddess. And this is done with cake and ale, celebrating on the Sabbaths and the Esbats. You got to celebrate on those particular times because the etheric energy is of such a nature that Ungit can receive it. That's why witchcraft is practiced according to the seasons. You understand? We do this on this time and that time. There's a reason for that because of the etheric energy. Well, I've given you what I can on witchcraft. Of course, we'll be talking about it later. But I want you to get the basics of it. If you can take it, you got your own system of however you want to do it. But these are just the core principles that I'm putting out there. Next, we'll visit the underworld in the form of voodoo and the Loas. Boy, that's going to be quite a trip. Well, anyway, this is Scott Jones. Talk to you later.